What's up, my peeps? And welcome to another Power Packed Phillips podcast. Just a friendly reminder, don't forget, your 10-question packet is due on Monday. You do not have any homework from the workbook today. You may take the packet home to work on it if you're not finished. Make sure you show me all your work for all the problems. TY. Again, just a friendly reminder, you need to be bringing in graph paper to class. We're going to be using a lot of graph paper over the next couple weeks as we move through Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. All right, we are going to be wrapping up Lesson 4.2 today. So please write down in your notes. This is Lesson 4.2, Part 5. We're going to talk about graphing special equations. Lesson 4.2, Part 5, Graphing Special Equations. Speaking of graphing, as always, I would like you to draw a coordinate grid on a piece of graph paper. Please go up to positive 10, go to the right positive 10, go to the left negative 10, and go down negative 10. After you're done doing that, you can take the stapler and staple it into your spiral. If you don't have graph paper, then you need to draw this by hand in your spiral. Enjoy the music while you're drawing. If you're not done, please pause the podcast and then restart it from where you left off. Alrighty, train is moving. If you would, please write in your spiral. I want you to graph the equation y equals 2. Please copy that in your spiral. This problem is either screaming at you, y has to equal 2 every time in this problem. Or, if you're the more subtle type, this problem is whispering to you, y has to equal 2 every time in this problem. So whether you're the screamer or the whisperer, make yourself a T-chart. Y is going to equal 2 every time in this problem. So then I want you to put 2 underneath y. Now, they didn't tell you what numbers to use, so you're free to pick any 3 numbers for x. You're free to pick any 3 numbers for x. So, I'm going to pick 0, 1, and 2. Please make sure you have these ordered pairs on your paper. Now, I'm going to graph the ordered pairs. I'll start with 0, 2. Remember, anytime I have 0, I freeze, please. So 0, 2. I'm going to freeze right here for 0. 2 means I'm going to go up 2 spaces. So go up 2 spaces, put a dot right there on top of the 2. Next ordered pair, 1, 2. I'm going to go right 1, and I'm going to go up 2. I'm going to go right 1, and I'm going to go up 2. Last ordered pair, I'm going to go right 2 spaces, and then I'm going to go up 2 spaces. Right 2 spaces, and up 2 spaces. I'm going to get rid of this, Now you're going to draw yourself a line connecting the dots. This is your line for the equation y equals 2. Notice your graph should make a straight line, or that is a linear equation. So you should have a graph here for y equals 2. And you might want to label that it equals 2. Y equals 2. That is the graph for this equation. BRB. This is a very common mistake that the crazy math teacher sees over and over again. So on the same piece of graph paper, I want you to draw yourself a line right here. Please draw your line at x equals 2. Please draw your line at x equals 2. And make yourself a note. This line is where x equals 2, not y equals 2. Make yourself a note. This is x equals 2, not y equals 2. Now, follow my logic. The graph that I showed you before, down below, that is the incorrect graph for y equals 2. Why, do you ask? In this graph, everything for x equals 2. Well, how is that, Mr. Phillips? Well, here's one way. X, 2. You're crossing the x-axis at 2. If that doesn't work for you, visual people, make yourself a T-chart. Put 2, 2, and 2. Since I didn't tell you what numbers to pick for y, you can pick any 3 numbers for y. So I'm just going to pick 0, 1, and 2. 2, 0. Go right 2 and then freeze. Go right 2 and freeze. 2, 1. Go right 2 and up 1. Right 2 and up 1. 2, 2. Go right 2 and up 2. Right 2 and up 2. Notice in my chart here, for all my ordered pairs, under x, I have 2. So that means when I graph it, all of my dots for my ordered pairs are going to be somewhere where x is 2. If I go back to the first graph, look at your T-chart. Underneath the T-chart, here, everything underneath y equals 2. Everything underneath y equals 2. There's a big difference. All right, let's do 2 more. In your spiral, please write, graph the equation x equals -4. In your spiral, please write, graph the equation x equals -4. If you're the screamer and the yeller, they're yelling to you, x has to equal -4 every time. If you prefer the more subtle tones of life, psst, I'm just letting you know that x has to equal 4 every time. Draw yourself a T-chart. Since x equals -4, we're going to put -4 underneath x every time. Pick any 3 numbers that you want for y. I'm going to pick 0, 1, and 2. I'll graph the first ordered pair. Since it's negative, I'm going to go left. I'll go left 4 and I will freeze because it's 0. Left 4 and I will freeze. Left 4, up 1. Left 4, up 1. Left 4, up 2. Left 4, up 2. Draw yourself a line connecting the dots. Make sure you have arrows on both ends. You can write yourself a note. This is the graph for x equals -4. Your graph should make a straight line because it's a linear equation. Visual people, notice. X equals -4. Underneath my x, each value is -4. Last graph. On the same piece of graph paper, draw yourself a line right here going horizontal side to side at -4. Make yourself a note. This line is for the equation y equals -4, not x equals -4. So beware, danger, these are very easy to flip. In this graph, every single time, my y value is going to be -4. In this graph, every single time, my y value is going to be -4. Well, why do you say that, Ms. Phillips? Because it's going across, or it's touching at -4 on the y-axis. Draw yourself a t-chart. Put -4, -4, -4 underneath the y. Pick any 3 numbers you want to for x. I will pick 0, 1, and 2. To graph it, 0, -4. I'm going to freeze, and then I'm going to go down 4. Freeze, and I'm going to go down 4. 1, -4. Go right, and then down. So I'm going to go right 1 and down 4. 2, -4. Go right 2, down -4. As you can see, every single time, the value, the number for y is -4. So please be careful on these. They are easy to do incorrectly. If you make yourself a t-chart and you put in the numbers, for example here, every time you're going to put -4 for x. Pick your numbers for y, graph it. It'll be as easy as it is for the Cubs to lose. See ya.